Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Came down here to the big house to do a video. I'm not going to have this house to do videos in for 8-10 days, so I'm going to take advantage. And I've never sat on the floor in this room, so I thought for the purposes of this video, this would be the perfect spot for this. Although it's probably more visual here. I was going to show you exactly, this isn't where I do my meditation. I have a set spot in my cabin where I sit in the evenings, but as they're working, I thought this would be a good place to do it from. Now this is just one of my weekend videos, kind of going off subject a little bit, and as you see today, it's called A Taste of Mindfulness, and this is just going to be a little meditation hack. I do videos every day. Most of them are on the raw food lifestyle, a plant-based diet in general, vegan fitness, a little bit of meditation like this, and a little bit of philosophy here and there. So if you're not already subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button now and click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. You know, over the last few months, as I've been really enjoying this meditation practice of mine, I've given it a lot of thought. You know, sometimes at night I just think about it, like, why? I've always kind of felt that meditation was important, would be an important part of my life, but it took me so long. I'm 53. It took me till almost 53 years to settle into a regular practice of meditation, regular daily. You know, and when I started doing this, and I've shared a little bit of my practice, just a little bit of light philosophy here and there, and my thinking has been, I'm just on the very first steps of my path. I'm a total beginner. I'm a total novice. So I don't really need to be sharing too much because, you know, what do I know? But then again, I think there's a lot of value in that. People don't tend to share their journey along the way. People tend to, wait until they're like doing something well or they've gotten to a certain point. And then they start doing videos, or they write about it, or they talk about it. I think there's a lot to be shared on the process. And just talking about food for a minute, I always try to encourage people to do a channel, do a blog, or whatever. And so many people give me that same, I'll wait until I get better at it. And there's so much value in people actually seeing people work through the process. And also I think of something that the voice, I've mentioned before that I actually have retooled my meditation practice by using the Calm app. I've got it on my iPhone, and it's guided meditations, but it's not too distracting, and it's taught me a lot. So there's one thing she says all the time: the beginner's mind is full of possibilities. In the expert mind, there's very little because they know it. So I think I want to start sharing a little bit more of the practical aspect of this. But like I say, once again, I'm not going to try to get over my head. I want you to know that I'm no expert. I'm just starting to, but I'm really enjoying this, and it makes me feel good, and it's become part of my daily life, and I crave it now. I don't have to think like, okay, let's get the meditation out of the way, or time to meditate. It's like I look forward to it. That's that time of day, just to be in the moment. And which basically, that's all, mindfulness can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but just mindfulness to me is simply just being present, being aware, being in the here and now. Those two words are very important. I try to use those words a lot. I don't use a lot of verbal stuff when I meditate, or I try not to, but sometimes I do, and I use those words, because they help. They help, and you'll see in just a minute why I'm talking about that. Now, one thing too, I want to share with you a little trick before I get into it. I'm just going to give you a couple of things that you can try if you want to give this a shot, but you've always been a little bit intimidated. One thing I did in the past was I got too caught up on the amount of time I was going to meditate. And I would meditate for several days, and who knows, maybe I'd meditate 15, 20 minutes, 10, 12, 18, whatever. And then, what would trip me up? I would always not meditate, or I'd break my streak, or I'd get off of it, because I would get to that point of day when was my usual time to meditate, and my mind just was like, I can't see myself sitting down for 18 minutes, or 15 minutes, or 10 minutes. I just don't think my mind's there, or I don't have the time. So if I didn't feel like I could sit down and meditate for as long as I had in normal sessions, previous sessions, whatever I thought I was supposed to meditate, I just didn't meditate at all. And I said, I'll get back to it tomorrow when I can do that 15 minutes or whatever. And then I wouldn't get back to it. And then I would miss 3 days of meditation. And then a week turns into 2. And then before you know it, you're not even meditating anymore. So one thing, and I didn't do this because, like I said, I started with the Calm app and it had set meditations. I started with the 7 days of Calm, and I think the meditations were around 10 or 12 minutes. And then I went on to the 21 days of Calm. And I meditate around 15 to 18 minutes now. But I want to say, it's all about, here's what I would say if you want to establish a meditation practice. If in the past you've had a hard time with it, because everybody sits down. Doesn't anybody just sit down and go into blank mind? And that's not the purpose of trying to have a blank mind. We want to be aware. It takes a while. There is no good meditation. There is no bad meditation. I did a meditation on impermanence last night. And it's talking about, a student. Meditator goes to the Zen master teacher, and says, Master, my meditation's horrible lately. I can't do this. I can't concentrate, blah, blah, blah. Master says, this will change. Student comes back a week later. Master, my practice is wonderful now. It's going so well, and blah, 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 blah. Master, this will change. Everything changes. We have good days. We have bad days. There's not bad days. Even if you're just aware for a split second, you're aware. You were aware. You came back to it. So what I would say is, to start off, let's say you're interested. Let's say I've kind of piqued your interest and you want to start a meditation practice. What would I recommend the first thing? Just commit. Find yourself a space. And, it's not necessary that you don't have to set up some holy altar or it's not written in stone. You have to be in the same spot every day. But it'll give you a little sense of regularity if you have a certain space. Best if you have a certain time. I still haven't mastered that one yet. I try to meditate in the mornings. Mornings are optimal. Optimal is before you do anything, before you get on your computer, out of bed, go to the bathroom, take a drink of water, and, do your meditation to set the day. But what I'm going to say there is, when you decide to do a practice, commit. Set up your spot. Try to hit a certain time of day. But, if you try to hit mornings, then if you don't hit mornings, you got the evenings. If you just set up, I'm going to meditate in the evening, and then something happens, you miss out. So have your spot. Get yourself a pillow. You don't have to have it, if you want to, treat yourself. It might incline you to meditate more. Order yourself a nice meditation pillow. I'm ordering one before I go to the States. They're not expensive. If it helps you, set yourself up a little altar type thing. Put a few inspirational photos there, but that's not going to be the focus. You're not going to be focusing, looking at something. But set your place, get your cushion, have your time. Commit to sitting every single day. No matter what. Commit to sit. You hear me? Commit to sitting every single day. Now, you might say, well, that's easy. You've already been meditating. You've started. I don't care how long you sit. Even if you don't meditate that one day, just go through the motion. Follow me. Go through the motion. And it may come to this. One day when you don't feel like meditating, but you have a little streak going, remember what I said. Go to your spot. Put your cushion in that spot, sit on the floor like you sit, whatever position, cross-legged. Sometimes, hey, you see me sitting. I can sit easily on the floor. If that's a problem, sit in a chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. That works too. But commit. Go and sit in your meditation spot every day. Even if you sit down, can't do it, and you get right back up, do it. That counts. You're starting to make a pattern. You got to that cushion. You got to that cushion. Get to your cushion the next day. And I'm kind of being a little extreme here. Nobody should have that strong a monkey mind that they just literally cannot sit still for a little bit. Next day, who knows? Maybe you sit for a minute. Now, what are you going to do when you actually kind of get the monkey mind calmed down a little bit and you are able to sit down? Like I say, I just sit in a simple cross-leg. I can do full lotus. I just not as comfortable sitting for 15, 20 minutes in full lotus. Sit in a comfortable position, legs crossed. Sometimes if you get those leg cramps, I even just have my leg in front of the other one. Don't have to be crossed. generally I don't know why, I just generally use this mudra, the thumb and the first finger on my knees. Some people like to cup their hands in their lap, whichever's more comfortable for you. But here's all you're really going to do. Mindfulness meditation. You're just going to be aware of the breath. You're going to start off being aware of the breath. Sit in your position, upright, nice, good posture. But your muscles relaxed. You don't want to be all tensed up to sit up. And also too, sometimes I'm sitting here for this video, but I actually have something against my back. I'll sit against the back of my bed to meditate because it gives me a little bit more support. But sit there, close your eyes, and just start breathing. And you don't want to manipulate your breath. Just start to be aware of your inhale and your exhale. And that's really all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. Now, what I would say, okay, yes, if you're really that antsy, get down there and just sit on your pillow and get right back up. Or get down on your pillow and just close your eyes and take 4 or 5 full breaths and just be aware. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. 4 or 5 breaths. Okay, I think anybody could tackle a minute. Maybe sit down and set some sort of a timer on your phone or whatever, and sit down and just be aware of your breath, follow your breath for a minute. Now, you're not trying to manipulate your breath. Your breath might be shallow, it might be deep, it might not be the same every time, but you're just aware of it. Now, don't try to, like I say, use words, but if it helps you, just think of it. Just think as you're breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then if you want to drop more more thoughtful, like, I'm not saying actual out loud words, but words in your head, just like in, out. But that's as simple. That's really all it has to be. And that's all I'm really doing right now. Now, I am starting to do a little bit of reading, and I do know other forms of meditation. And I was actually reading about, I kind of find it interesting a little bit, Japa, J-A-P-A meditation, which involves a mantra and counting stuff and whatever. There's Kriya meditation, Kriya yoga. So there's some other things I'm going to explore, but this is kind of my base. This has been the base for me to establish this practice. And I just can't tell you how much peace you will find if you do this on a regular basis. And I'll challenge you to do it. Try it for a week. Try it for 21 days. That's how long it takes for a habit to settle in. But really do what I'm saying and take it seriously. If you sit down for 3 days in a row, and you don't meditate at all, but as long as you sit down and cross your legs, as long as you prepare yourself, put your cushion down, sit down, cross your legs, straighten your back and get into position, that's okay. Maybe 3 days, maybe on the 4th day you sit there for 30 seconds. But what I would say is just everybody especially if you've had a hard time, if you want to try to go a little bit further, do it, but just so you can establish, take a week and do this for 1 minute. Just how easy is that? If you're interested in meditating, once again, some people may not be interested in meditating. 1 week. 1 week, commit to setting up your spot, putting your cushion down, sitting down on your cushion, and meditating, closing your eyes, and breathing, and following your breath, and being aware of your breath for 1 minute. If thoughts pop up, do not judge that. Don't get frustrated. As soon as a thought pops up, think of it as, I think of different things. I think of it as balloons floating away. I think of it as things going down a river. And just let that thought go. Be aware of it. Don't try to push that thought out. Our mind likes to repel what we try to do. So just, as you're sitting there breathing, focusing on your breath, which is the only focus point, thought comes up. As soon as you realize that, just be thought. And it's going away already. The balloon takes off. And you immediately just go back to the breath. There's going to be days where you aren't in the breath all that long and you're just going back to the breath. That's meditation, just being aware enough that your thoughts have led you astray and you're able to take yourself back to the breath. That's a success within itself. If you just remember to go back to the breath one time in your whole meditation session, let's say you get distracted the whole minute, except one time you get that awareness and you bring yourself back to the breath, that's successful. So anyhow, I hope this is beneficial, and I will do a little bit more of these as my practice progresses and I feel they're appropriate. Once again, I'm no master meditator, I'm a novice myself, but I just want to share this journey from novice's viewpoint. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow. Peace.